keep an employee motivated, and also the organizational structure or the leadership style that must be adopted in the organization. It is a field of study where we will be studying the impact of individual behavior, groups behavior, and the organizational structure, culture, change, development, and as well as the decision making that happens in the organization. Hello everyone, I am Nikilavati S, Faculty of Commerce, Vidhyaashram First Grade College, the Temple of Excellence, MYSURU. I welcome you all for the sessions on the subject Organizational Behaviour. And here we are starting with the first chapter, that is Fundamentals of Organizational Behaviour. So in this chapter we are going to study what is organizational behavior is all about. As the name itself says, like it's about the behavior of the individuals or groups or the structures within an organization. So in this session, let us study more about what is organizational behavior and what are the definitions, what are its features, and the scope of organizational behavior. Meaning of organizational behavior. So as we all know, here there are two different words. One is organization, the other one is behavior. So organization, here we're discussing about a group of something, like it is the institution consisting of a group of people which is there for achieving certain objective. But here with reference to business organization, we will be discussing how people or the individuals or the groups that are formed by the individuals will behave in the organization or while working in that particular formal setting. So coming to its meaning of organizational behavior refers to the study of how individuals, groups, and structures interact and function within an organization. So here we'll be studying, it's all about, the organizational behavior subject is the study of how individuals or the groups or the structures that is existing in the organization are going to interact between each other when they are in the particular organization. And it focuses on understanding, predicting, and influencing human behavior. So here this study, it's all about understanding the human behavior. So why we need to understand the human behavior? In order to understand how they'll behave to certain rules and restrictions or certain situations, and what will be their reaction when a new policy is brought in the organization or to a work setting, or when there is some kind of change that is adopted by the management, how these individuals are going to behave. So in order to understand and also to predict the human behavior. So once if you understand what is the human behavior and how it is influenced, what are the factors affecting human behavior, it will also help you to predict what kind of behavior can be expected from the individuals or the groups. And also to influence human behavior. So based on the understanding and prediction, it is easy to influence the human behavior so that you can integrate all their efforts towards the achievement of organizational goals and objectives. So why that is influencing or understanding, predicting is needed? To enhance the organizational effectiveness and individual satisfaction. So for every organization, it is, human resources are part and parcel of every organization. So whether it is profit organization or non-profit organization, whether it is an NGO or a business organization, human resources play an important role. So it is very important to keep those human resources of the organization satisfied, and in order to gain the satisfaction and also to achieve the organizational effectiveness in getting the satisfaction of the employees or the human resources, it is important to understand their behavior. So this organizational behavior study helps in understanding the human behavior. Next, let us study some of the key aspects of organizational behavior. So organizational behavior mainly includes these two key aspects, which is, it is multidisciplinary. That means it consists of multiple disciplines. So some of the concepts and theories of organizational behavior are taken from multiple disciplines like psychology, sociology, anthropology, economics, and management. So many concepts or theories of organizational behaviors are taken from these subjects of psychology. Maybe it is related to the individual behavior, understanding the personality, traits of personality, and the factors affecting for the personality, or understanding the individual perception, the attitude, and the factors affecting the attitude and perception. So these theories are taken from psychology. Then sociology, it is related to the social behavior, the society and the culture from which the humans or the individuals come. Then anthropology, it is related to the hereditary aspects and the evolution of the human resources or the human beings. Then economics, and of course the management theories are very important, particularly when we are going to study about a business organization. So next, another aspect of organizational behavior consists of that it aims to develop better relationships between employees and the organizations to achieve mutual goals. So why the organizational behavior has to be studied? So it is to have a better relationship between the employees and the organization. So once you understand your employees, the organization can understand the needs of the employees well. Then it can act in such a way where employees gets motivated. And in that way, both the employees will also be satisfied to work in that particular organization where they feel like valued and understood. Then it is easy to both of them to achieve mutual goals. For example, in an organization where there is a lot of employee turnover, this organizational behavior study helps the management to understand the causes for that employee turnover or more and more labor turnover. So maybe it is due to low productivity level, or due to low encouragement or low motivation or morale of the individuals, or maybe due to the poor leadership skills. So all these can be understood through the study of organizational behavior. Next, let us study some of the definitions of organizational behavior to understand what is the organizational behavior is all about in a broader way. So according to Stephen P. Robbins, organizational behavior is a field of study that investigates the impact that individuals, groups, and structure have on behavior within an organization. That means he says that it is a field of study where we will be studying the impact of individual behavior, groups behavior, and the organizational structure. Maybe it's the organizational ethics, the organization culture that is existing. So what kind of impact these behaviors have, and how the individuals behave in the organization, how the individuals behave when they are in group in the organization, and how these individuals or group behavior is going to have an impact on the performance of the human resources. So why we need to study this? It is for the purpose of applying such knowledge towards improving the organization's effectiveness. So it is done in order to improve the overall organizational effectiveness. Then next, according to Fred Lutens, organizational behavior is directly concerned with the understanding, prediction and control of human behavior in organization. That means he says, with a simple definition, that is explained very beautifully here. He says that organizational behavior is all about understanding, predicting and controlling of human behavior. So organizational behavior helps to understand what are the factors that are going to influence the human behavior. So what is all about the individual behavior or the group behavior or the organizational structure and how it is going to impact. So based on the understanding or the foundations of, or after knowing all these fundamentals of human behavior, it is quite easy for you to predict how a person may react to certain situations based on the understanding that is formed. Then it is easy to control the human behavior in the organization. So control the human behavior in such a way that their motivation is high always and their productivity is improvised and they are happy and satisfied to stay within the organization. So say for example, the motivational factors for different individuals will be different. So one employee may expect a good amount of salary where the other employee may expect a reward or recognition. So implementing these kind of reward system or a recognition system where the employees will be valued more, or providing increment to certain employees who are expecting increment, that means it is of course based on the performance of the employees, but these kinds of system will keep them motivated and work towards increasing their productivity levels and also to achieve the mutual goals of the organization. Then one more definition by Keith Davis. He says that organizational behavior is all about the study and the application of knowledge about how people act within organization. So it is simply means it is the study as well as the application of that particular study or the knowledge about how people act within organizations. So these definitions about organizational behavior concentrates more on both on theoretical as well as practical application of these theories in order to understand the human behavior better in the organization. Moving forward, let us study the nature of organizational behavior. So as you can see, these are the nature of organizational behavior, which consists of interdisciplinary nature, systematic approach, focus on human behavior, goal-oriented discipline, dynamic nature, descriptive and predictive disciplines, practical application, then interaction between individual and organization. Now, to discuss one by one, organizational behavior is an interdisciplinary nature. So, interdisciplinary. So, as while discussing in the definitions, it is interdisciplinary. That means it consists of multiple disciplines and it is connected with other disciplines like psychology, sociology, economics also. So here the organizational behavior integrates the theories and concepts of psychology to understand better about the human behavior. So to understand about the individual behavior, it integrates with psychology, and to understand about the cultural impact, it is integrating with the anthropology, and to know about the social impact or the social behavior, it is very important to also take out and understand anthropology. And of course, even economics and management are very important to understand the incentive methods that keep an employee motivated, and also the organizational structure or the leadership style that must be adopted in the organization. Then it consists of systematic approach. That means it uses a systematic, like scientific approach to understand the behavior of the people. So it relies on data that is collected and studied about the behavior of the people. It relies on empirical research and data analysis rather than assumptions. For example, conducting employee satisfaction surveys in order to gauge more about the individual behavior rather than depending on the feedback anecdotes. Then one more important nature or a feature of organization behavior is its focus on human behavior. So it focuses on the human behavior at individual level, group level, and at the organizational level. So here it studies the behavior at the individual's levels by understanding the perception, attitude, the personality, and what are the aspects or the factors affecting these kinds of factors that affect the individual behavior of the organization. Then at the organizational level, what are the types of rules or restrictions or the motivation or leadership theories, or how the work setting or the work environment, these are going to impact the individual behavior. Then about the organizational structure. So here the organizational structure includes like the organizational work culture, its ethics, the communication system that the organization has adopted. So all these factors are going to have an impact on the human behavior in the organization. Next, it is a goal-oriented discipline. So this study is a discipline where it concentrates on the goals of both the organization as well as the individuals or the human resources. So its goal is to achieve the organizational effectiveness along with giving enough concentration on the improvement of the career growth and the motivational level of the employees. Then it is dynamic in nature. So why it is dynamic? Because it is about the human behavior. So the human behavior will be quite dynamic, where it may keep changing based on the situation, circumstances, and it keeps on changing from people to people. So you can't predict always, like no two individuals are alike. Like each individual is different from another individual. So his expectations will be different. So based on this, the human behavior cannot be like predicted as per the study that has done. Like it can be like 100% sure, like how a person may behave or reply or react to your situation or the circumstances or rules and regulations. As organizations evolve, even the organizational behavior keeps on changing as per the changes in technology or the changes that are happening due to globalization or workforce diversity, and the workforce and their motivational levels and their expectations from the work kind of environment. Then it is both descriptive and predictive disciplines. So here the organizational behavior not only describes about how the behavior of the person will be when he is as an individual, or when he is in group, or when certain type of organizational structure is existing. It also helps to predict some of the aspects and the behavior of the people. Next is practical application. So here, whatever the study that we are going to study in this organizational behavior, it is for the practical application, it is for the implementation, it is studied as an implementation measure for every organization. Because as an organization, like you have to deal with the people, so you are human resources. So as human resources are an important part of your organization, it is very much needed to implement certain measures very quickly so that you can bring changes in the behavior of the individuals, as well as you can make them and their efforts to be aligned with the organization's goals. Next is it is an interaction between individual and organization. So whatever you are going to study in the organizational behavior, it's all about the interaction that is happening between the employees and the organization, or the individuals and the organization. So that's how you'll come to know about how the individual behaves in an organization through the interaction that, or the communication that happens on a day-to-day basis. Moving forward, let us study the scope of organizational behavior. So the scope of organizational behavior, when we talk about, it is very vast and multidisciplinary, as we studied in the nature of organizational behavior. So it consists of like all this individual behavior, group behavior, organizational structure, culture, change, development, and as well as the decision making that happens in the organization. So to study one by one, the organizational behavior studies about the individual behavior. So here the individual behavior is nothing but studying how a person behaves in an organization, what motivates them, and how their emotions are going to impact on their performance, how their perception levels or their attitude or their personality is going to have an impact on the performance of them in the organization. So here we'll be studying more about the perception, the attitude, the personality, and the factors affecting all these in the organization, or factors affecting about an individual behavior, and what are the factors influencing an individual behavior generally, as well as how they are going to have an impact in their performance in the organization. For example, a manager understanding an employee's personality can assign the task that suits to his strengths and weaknesses. That's how he can bring the organizational efficiency, by assigning tasks as per his personality. That means as per his strengths. Next is group behavior. Here the organizational behavior studies about the behavior of a team or a group. So how the people interact within a group, or when they are in a group, how their behavior changes. So how the behavior of an individual changes when he is alone or when he is in a group. So particularly, the people having similar mindset or similar kind of feedback or opinions will form a group. So how these group and group dynamics play a role or have an impact on the performance in the organization, how it is going to have an impact on the decision making that happens in the organization. So next we have is organizational structure. So here in the organizational structure, it focuses more on how the organization is designed and structured. So how it is, how the flow of communication or the authority, responsibility, so all these, comes into, even the decision making, whether it is centralized or decentralized. So, and how this is going to have an impact on the human or the human resources who are working in the organization. Next is organizational culture. So here in the organizational culture, like shared values, norms, and practices within the organization. So even this is going to have an impact on the behavior of the individuals as well as the group. Then change and development. So here it's all about how the people behave towards change, like any kind of, so generally when the people are adjusted to certain work environment, they'll be very reluctant to accept a change that comes. People will make the present working condition as their comfort zone, and they'll be very reluctant to accept any kind of changes that may happen. It might be in the change of the work culture or the work system, or the work schedules, or maybe the changes in the rules and policies of the organization, or maybe the changes may come due to the change in technology, all this. So how the people will react to certain change and how to manage this change. Next, it also studies about decision making. So how the decision make should happen in the organization, how individuals are impacted by the decisions, how groups are impacted by the decisions, and how these individuals or the groups or the group dynamics can impact on the decisions made by the management. So it's all about, the scope of organizational behavior. So hope you have all understood what is organizational behavior. We have seen its meaning, definitions and features, or the nature of organizational behavior, as well as the scope of organizational behavior. So hope you all have understood this. Thank you.